This lesson is about gerunds, which are nouns that end in ing. Gerunds are words for activities, and they look like verbs because they end in ing, like continuous verbs, but they act as nouns in a sentence. So here's an example. He enjoys shopping. So he is the subject, enjoys is the verb in the present tense, and shopping is the gerund. That's the activity that this man enjoys. So it would be the same idea if we said he enjoys that activity. So you can see that an activity, even though it's describing an action, it's a thing. Like soccer is a thing, a sport. Shopping is also an activity, like soccer is an activity, but we're not saying that he's doing that activity right now. We're saying he enjoys it, he likes it. So if we were going to use a pronoun to take the place of shopping or activity, we would use the pronoun it, because we're describing a thing. So that's what you need to wrap your head around, is that we're not saying he's doing that action. We're saying he likes that thing, that activity. He enjoys it. So we can use any verb as a gerund. You just need to put ing at the end of the base form of the verb. Sometimes there are a few spelling irregularities. If you have a short vowel, you need to double the consonant, but they all end in ing. So let me ask you this question. What activities do you enjoy? I enjoy gardening, and think of some verbs, some actions that you like to do, and then just add ing on the end. Do you like reading? Do you like sewing? Do you like watching movies? Gerunds go in the same sentence positions as other nouns. So they can go in the subject position, which means before the verb, as in swimming is fun. So again, if we were going to use a pronoun to take the place of swimming, we would say it is fun. And when we say it, we mean swimming, that activity. So there's a woman who enjoys swimming. Gerunds can go in the object position, as in she likes swimming. So in this sentence, she is the subject, likes is the verb, and swimming is the gerund in the object position. So remember, the object is affected by the action. The object comes after the verb. So if we were going to use a pronoun to take the place of the gerund, we would say she likes it. And it is referring to swimming, that activity. She likes that activity. And another place gerunds can go is after a preposition. There they're called the object of the preposition. So here's an example. She is really good at swimming. So at is a preposition. Prepositions are those small words that indicate place and time of a noun. And in this case, the noun is a gerund. It's swimming. So again, we could use a pronoun to take the place of that gerund. She is really good at it. Good at swimming. It is referring to the gerund swimming. I'm going to give you a few more examples of gerunds after prepositions, because those are ones that maybe you're not as familiar with. She takes a shower after swimming. After is a preposition. Her brother likes soccer better than swimming. Than is a preposition. He has no interest in swimming. Summer is the best time for swimming, etc. So let's practice putting gerunds in the subject position. So that means in front of the verb at the beginning of the sentence. So fill in the blanks with a gerund that makes sense for the context of the sentence. Here we go. Something books will improve your vocabulary. So what is an ing word we can put in there that makes sense for that sentence? What activity do we do with books? Hopefully you guessed reading. Reading books will improve your vocabulary. That activity will improve your vocabulary. Number 2, blank English with friends and family is the best way to improve your fluency. So fluency, so what do you think? Speaking English. That activity is the best way to improve your fluency. Number 3, blank the piano is his favorite way to spend a Sunday afternoon. What do you do with the piano? Playing the piano. This activity is his favorite way to spend a Sunday afternoon. Number 4, something late is not acceptable in Canadian culture. So we need an ing word there. We need an activity. Late is an adjective. So what verb form can come before an adjective? I hope you guessed being. So remember, when we have the verb be, it can be followed by a noun or an adjective. So being late is the correct answer there. That activity of being late is not acceptable. Something music is a good way to release stress. So let's look at that picture there of the woman with the headphones on. The correct answer there is listening to music is a good way to release stress. So that is a multi-word verb there. It requires that preposition. And then number 6, blank from your mistakes is important for personal growth. So what do you need to do from your mistakes? Learning from your mistakes is important for personal growth. Okay, so all of those sentences had a gerund in the subject position. They came before the verb. So we could say, it will improve your vocabulary. It is the best way to improve your fluency. It is his favorite way to spend a Sunday afternoon, etc. So that's one place that gerunds can go. Another place they can go is in the object position, but you can only put gerunds in the object position with some verbs. And that's one of the challenging things about learning to use gerunds correctly, is that only some verbs will take gerund objects. Other verbs require a to infinitive, which we'll learn about in another lesson. But this is a list of some of the common verbs that take a gerund object. She doesn't mind washing the dishes. So mind, that is the main verb in the sentence. She doesn't mind. She doesn't mind what activity? Washing the dishes. So mind is a verb that allows, permits, will let you put a gerund after it. So some other verbs that will allow a gerund in the object position are recommend, as in I recommend what? What activity? I recommend watching that movie. Spend time is another verb phrase that will allow us to put an object after it. She spends a lot of time doing what activity? Posting on social media. And then waste time, that's another one that we can put a gerund after. I waste time watching TV. So waste time, that's the verb phrase, and then we have in the object position, the gerund, the activity. So I'm going to put up a list of some more verbs here. Avoid, consider, dislike, enjoy, finish, give up, keep, miss, practice, quit. So those are verbs that will allow a gerund to come after them. So avoid is the verb, and then you can put whatever gerund you like after that. I avoid listening to music I don't like. I avoid going to bed late. So those are useful ones to memorize because they're verbs that we use often. And as I said, there are other verbs that cannot take gerunds, and we'll learn about those in another lesson. So let's practice putting gerunds in the object position. So again, choose a gerund that fits the context of the sentence. Number 1, she misses blank time with her family. So what's a gerund that would fit that sentence? How about spending time? She misses spending time with her family. So what we're saying there is she misses what activity? She misses that. She misses it. She misses spending time with her family. Number 2, we considered blank a house, but we didn't have enough money. So what do you think would go in there? What gerund? We considered buying a house. So considered is the verb, and then buying is the gerund. We considered it. Number 3, they put the furniture back after they finished blank the walls. So have a look at this couple here. What are they doing? What activity? They put the furniture back after they finished painting the walls. So they is the subject, finished is the verb, and painting is the gerund. They finished it. They finished that activity. After he lost a lot of weight, he avoided blank too much fatty food. What needs to go in there? Which gerund? Eating. Okay, he is the subject, avoided is the verb, and eating is the gerund. So you'll notice that our verb is in the past tense, but the gerund stays the same no matter what. He hasn't succeeded yet, but he keeps blank to quit smoking. And so what's the answer there? Trying. He keeps trying to quit smoking. And you'll notice we have two gerunds there. We have trying and smoking. Those are both activities. He is doing this activity to quit this activity. Number 6, she enjoys blank a student. She enjoys being a student. Okay, so in all of those sentences, the gerund is in the object position, so that means it comes after the verb. It's affected by the verb. And then finally, the last place that we can put a gerund is after a preposition. So let's get some practice with that. The children looked both ways before blank the street. So have a look at the picture there. What are they about to do before crossing the street? So before is the preposition, and after a preposition you always need to have a noun somewhere in the sentence. And in this case, the noun is a gerund, an activity. before crossing the street. The couple worried about blank lost in the big city. So what's the phrase we use there? It's getting lost. The couple worried about getting lost in the big city. Number 3, she was fired after she admitted to blank money from the company. What do you think you would get fired for? How about stealing money? Number 4, adults have a harder time than children with blank to speak a new language. So what are many of you doing who are listening to this video? Learning to speak a new language. So again, notice we have the preposition with, and then after the preposition, we have the gerund. Adults have a harder time than children with this activity, with it. Number 5, she is excited about blank a special meal for her family. What do we do when we make a meal? We cook, right? She is excited about cooking a special meal for her family. So that is a mistake that students often make, is that they put the base form of the verb after a preposition. She is excited about cook a special meal. Or they put the word in the past tense again because they think, oh, all the verbs need to be in past tense. So they say something like, she is excited about cooked a special meal. But no, when we're talking about an activity and we're using it like a noun, it needs to have an ing. She is excited about cooking a special meal for her family. So she is the subject, is the verb, excited is an adjective, and then she is excited about what? What thing is she excited about? The activity of cooking a special meal for her family. Number 6, this one is for you to answer. I am good at what activity? So think, what are you good at? And use a gerund. So I think it would be a good idea if we review now the words that end in ing, because we've learned about a few different kinds of words that end in ing, and now that we've learned about gerunds, I think it will be helpful to reflect on the types we've learned about. Words that end in ing can have 3 different jobs in a sentence. They can be, number 1, a verb. Number 2, an adjective. Number 3, a noun. So when they're verbs, they are either present continuous verbs or past continuous verbs or future continuous verbs or present perfect continuous, etc. So here's an example. The teacher is boring his students right now. So in that sentence, teacher is the subject, is the helping verb, and then boring is the main verb. And it's showing that the action was continuous. So when we see ing in the verb position, it means that the action was continuous. Maybe in the past, the future, the present, but what it means is it continued for a while. It wasn't over just like that. When we see ing, it also might be in a verb. So here's an example. She has a boring teacher. So there, the word boring is describing the teacher. So it's an adjective. She is the subject, has is the verb, and boring is the adjective describing the teacher. And then finally, what we learned about today, ing words can be gerunds. So here's an example. Boring your students is not a good idea. this activity of boring your students is not a good idea. It is not a good idea. So let's just make sure that you guys all understand the different uses of ing. Let's fill in the blanks here. In number 1, you need to use the verb study as a present continuous verb. So what would that be? I, and I hope you guessed, am studying. So there the ing word is a verb. Okay, number 2, we're going to use do as a past continuous verb. So they blank their homework when their friends called. So past continuous tense, what do we need? We need were as the helping verb, and then doing, the ing word, is our continuous verb. Now, how about using interest as a participle adjective? I watched an interesting movie last night. So there, the ing word is describing the movie. What kind of movie? An interesting movie. Watched is our past tense verb. So interesting is not a verb there because it's not in the right position for that. It's describing the noun. And then if we wanted to use learn as a gerund, we could say, I enjoy learning English. And in that sentence, the gerund is in which position? How about the object position? Because it comes after the main verb, right? Enjoy is a present tense verb. It's not present continuous because we don't have the helping verb be. Enjoy is its own verb. It's not a helping verb. I enjoy what activity? I enjoy learning English, and learning is in the object position. Learning English is not easy. The gerund is in the subject position because it comes before the verb. It's the subject of the sentence. It is not easy. And I keep my brain sharp by learning English. The gerund is the object of the what. What is this word by? It's a preposition. Okay, so let's summarize what we've learned here. Gerunds are activities. Gerunds have ing at the end of the base verb, such as eating, reading, having, listening to, swimming, being, doing, picking up. There's a gentleman reading there. Gerunds look like verbs, but act as nouns in a sentence, as in, she is thinking about becoming a nurse. She is thinking about this. So we are not using that ing word as a verb there. We are using it as a noun. She is thinking about this activity. She is thinking about it, this thing. In a sentence, gerunds can be the subject, object, or object of the preposition, as in, being good at speaking English requires practicing every day. Being is the subject. Speaking English is coming after preposition, and requires what? Practicing is coming after the verb, and so it is the object. Words that end in ing can be verbs, adjectives, or gerunds, depending on their position in the sentence. And so here we have an example. He is looking for interesting books to read after finishing the school term. So looking, that's a verb. We know because it's with the helping verb be, and it comes right after the subject. Interesting books, that's an adjective because it's describing the books. And finishing is a gerund because it comes after a preposition. Okay, so we use gerunds often in English, so they're worth your time and effort. And I think that they're not too difficult once you know where to look for them.